$47. That's what's sitting in Marcus's checking account on his 22nd birthday. Same week, same city, his roommate Devin opens a brokerage account with $47 too. Same income, same rent, same age, and one of them is going to retire a millionaire before 55. The other one is going to be working past 70, wondering what happened. Here's the part that's going to bother you. For the first 6 years, you literally cannot tell them apart. This is the decade where the gap forms invisibly. So we're going to run it, year by year, dollar by dollar, and show you exactly where it opens, exactly what it costs, and exactly what it's worth by the end. Marcus and Devin both start at $45,000 a year. Modest raises, nothing dramatic. Both live in a decent one-bedroom, not a mansion, not a mattress on the floor. This isn't a story about who's irresponsible. It's a story about where $200 a month actually goes and what that decision is quietly worth 30 years later. Devin puts $200 a month into an index fund. That's the entire strategy. No side hustle, no crypto bet, no genius stock pick. Marcus puts that same $200 into what everyone his age puts it into. Dinners out, a nicer car payment, concert tickets, the stuff that makes your 20s feel like your 20s. Year 1, Devin has $2,436 after growth. Marcus has memories. That's not a joke. That's the actual trade being made. And on its own, it's not automatically the wrong one. Here's the thing nobody tells you about age 25. The numbers still look basically identical from the outside. Devin isn't rich. He's got a few $1,000s sitting in an app he barely opens. Marcus looks, if anything, like he's living better wardrobe, better weekend stories. This is exactly where most people conclude investing isn't worth it. Because at year 3, it genuinely doesn't look like it is. But let's run the actual math on what's happening in the background while nobody's watching. By 27, Devin's $200 a month has become roughly $9,800. Not because he got smarter, not because he timed anything, because he didn't stop. By 30, the age most people finally start paying attention to their finances, Devin has about $19,300 sitting there. Marcus has whatever's currently in his checking account, which, statistically, for someone spending like Marcus, is close to zero. Sound familiar? This is the moment the gap stops being invisible. At 30, a $19,000 difference feels real. That's a wedding fund, a down payment cushion, 6 months of runway to try something risky with a career. Marcus doesn't have the money. But more than that, he doesn't have the option. That's what the number actually represents at this age, not wealth, optionality. But it's not even the twist yet, because the next 10 years are where this stops being a saving story and becomes a compounding story. Here's the part that changes everything. Devin doesn't need to increase his contribution. He doesn't need a windfall, a raise, or a lucky year. He just needs to not touch it. From here, compounding stops being a background hum and becomes the loudest thing in the room. By 35, that same $200 a month has grown to around $38,000. By 40, it's near $65,000. Somewhere in there, Devin's account crosses a line most people never expect this early. The growth in a single year starts to outpace what he's actually contributing. His money is now doing more work than he is. Marcus, over that same 18 years, has spent somewhere north of $120,000 on the version of life that $200 a month bought him. On paper, that sounds like a number that should have bought him something lasting, a car he still owns, a trip he still remembers clearly, maybe a down payment. In reality, it didn't buy any one thing. It bought 1,000 small things, none of which survived past the week they happened. That's the real math behind the sticker number. Not one big mistake, but 18 years of small ones that never felt like anything at the time. Neither of them is wrong for what they valued in the moment, but only one of them can see it on paper. By 45, Devin's account has crossed $103,000, still contributing the same $200 he started with at 22. No raises to the plan required. Marcus, at 45, is starting to notice the gap for the first time in a way he can't ignore, which is usually the exact age people panic and try to catch up by investing aggressively. It rarely works the way they hope. For the same reason, it never works. There's no version of 45 that has access to the 8-year head start 22 already spent. Now, here's the twist, because this isn't a story where Devin simply wins and Marcus simply loses. Devin's $200 a month, held from 22 to 55, at a historically reasonable market average, lands somewhere around $340,000. Not from luck, not from a hot tip. From doing the single most boring financial action available to a human being on a schedule for 33 straight years. But here's what almost nobody's honest about. Marcus isn't broke at 55 because he spent money in his 20s. Marcus is broke at 55 because he never once went back and revisited the decision. The 20s aren't actually the dangerous decade. The dangerous decade is whichever one you never correct. And this is where the real math gets uncomfortable. If Devin had started that exact same $200 a month at 30 instead of 22, just 8 years later, his number at 55 doesn't drop by a little. It roughly cuts in half. Same discipline, same monthly amount, half the outcome. That's not Devin being twice as smart later on. That's 8 years of compounding that cannot be bought back at any price, at any income, no matter how much you throw at it after the fact. If this is already showing you something, the typical just save more video skips, that the timing matters more than the amount, hit like before we finish the numbers. Because here's the part that reframes everything you just heard. It's not really a story about $200. Run the same math at $40 a month instead of $200, starting at 22, and Devin still ends up with roughly $68,000 by 55. Money that, at Marcus's starting point, simply doesn't exist. The dollar amount was never the deciding factor. The decade was, so here's the honest verdict, and it's not the one either extreme wants to hear. The person who enjoys their 20s isn't the loser in this story. The person who saves every dollar and burns out by 26 isn't the automatic winner either. The only person who actually loses here is the one who does nothing. Because doing nothing was never neutral. It was the most expensive decision available, and it was the only one being made silently. $47 in an account at 22 doesn't look like anything. It's what happens to it for the next 33 years that decides everything else.